What would you think if the neighbor who lives next to you every day was actually a murderer? A kind man who had lived a disciplined life for more than 50 years suddenly disappeared without a trace. A few weeks later, his body was found, dismembered into many pieces and scattered across the cold mountains of Japan. The most terrifying part was not the brutal way the crime was committed, but the fact that the killer was a young man living in the same building, someone the victim greeted every day. This case shocked all of Japan in 2025 and left people terrified, raising a chilling question. Do we really know who the people living next to us are? At the beginning of 2025, a mountain in Osaka suddenly appeared on major news headlines, but not because of its beautiful scenery. It was the crime scene of a horrifying murder case. Police found multiple human body parts scattered throughout the forest, while the victim's head was completely missing. The killer was extremely meticulous, hiding all identification documents, clothing, and personal belongings to delay the investigation. This made the police extremely anxious, forcing them to recover whatever remained of the dismembered body before the murderer had time to escape. So what exactly happened to this unfortunate victim? What kind of hatred could drive someone to kill in such a brutal way? As usual, before we get into the main story, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Horrifying Documents. Now let's begin. Higashi Osaka is a city in Osaka Prefecture, Japan, known for its peaceful lifestyle and relatively healthy living environment. Although located near the bustling center of Osaka, Higashi Osaka retains the calm atmosphere of a traditional residential area. The streets are clean and orderly, residents are friendly, and there is a strong sense of community. Security is well maintained, and serious crimes or murders rarely occur. The city also invests heavily in surveillance cameras and neighborhood patrols to ensure the safety of its residents. In addition, Higashi Osaka is known for its quality schools and modern infrastructure, making it very suitable for families and elderly people who want to settle down. It represents a perfect balance between urban convenience and peaceful Japanese living. However, in 2025, that peaceful image was shaken by a horrifying discovery. The mountainous area of Higashi Osaka suddenly became the center of a nationwide shocking case. Everything began at noon on January 25, 2025, when a local patrol officer entered the Ikoma mountain area in Higashi Osaka for a routine check. There was an abandoned house hidden among dense trees, creating a desolate and eerie atmosphere. At that moment, a strong foul odor came from the direction of the dilapidated house, prompting the officer to approach. In the faint light filtering through the leaves, he was horrified to discover objects resembling human body parts scattered across the damp ground around the house. He immediately reported the discovery to headquarters, and investigation units were quickly dispatched to the scene. When the first investigators arrived, they witnessed one of the most haunting scenes of their careers. The scene looked like a real-life horror painting. On the ground, the upper torso of a man was found without a head, arms, or legs. A few steps away, police found 2 arms and 2 legs hidden in the grass. Continuing the search, they found one hand lying cold beside a rock, while the other hand was partially buried under layers of dead leaves. The body parts were scattered within a radius of about 30 meters around the abandoned house. All of them were in an advanced state of decomposition, indicating they had been there for several weeks during the cold winter weather in Osaka. In addition, the body parts had clean and sharp-cut marks, and there was no clothing on them. These details indicated that the killer was extremely cold-blooded and cunning, committing the crime with a carefully prepared plan, both in tools and timing. Furthermore, no personal belongings of the victim were found anywhere around the scene. Recognizing the complexity and seriousness of the case, the local police could not handle it alone and had to wait for investigators from the Osaka Prefectural Police to coordinate the investigation and seal off the entire remote area around Mount Ikoma. Looking at the horrifying scene, a veteran investigator commented that the killer had gone to great lengths to transport the victim to such a remote location. The abandoned house was likely known only to locals or someone deliberately seeking a place to dispose of a body. The fact that the body parts were left exposed instead of buried suggested the killer may have been in a hurry or believed the area was remote enough that no one would find them. Ironically, this helped investigators recover most of the body parts except for the head. At this point, the crime scene became a major mystery waiting to be solved. Who was the victim? What had happened to him? The investigation team worked closely with forensic experts to collect crucial clues on site and form initial hypotheses. First, forensic analysis revealed bruising under the skin around the victim's neck, indicating strangulation leading to mechanical asphyxiation. This suggested that the victim was likely killed first and then dismembered. Second, based on the degree of decomposition, forensic experts estimated the time of death to be around late December 2024, about a month before the body was discovered. This time frame coincided with the holiday season, when many people travel and disappearances might go unnoticed. Third, the victim's physical characteristics were outlined. Based on bone measurements and body proportions, experts estimated the victim was a man around 40 to 50 years old, with a very short height of about 135 to 145 centimeters, and one leg possibly showing signs of disability. This unusual physical trait puzzled investigators. While Japanese people are not known for extreme height, an adult male of such short stature was still rare. However, this distinctive feature could also serve as a key clue for identification. If someone matching these characteristics had been reported missing, police could quickly narrow down the search. Before identification could be confirmed, authorities faced another urgent task: finding the missing head. Without it, identification would be far more difficult, and it might also contain crucial forensic evidence. Search teams expanded their efforts around Mount Icoma, digging through soil and leaf litter in the surrounding forest, but after many hours, they found nothing. This strengthened the suspicion that the killer had taken the head elsewhere to delay identification, giving himself more time to escape. Despite the difficulties, identifying the victim remained the top priority, as it was a critical step in solving the murder. Police released basic information to the media about a middle-aged man around 1.4 meters tall found dismembered in Higashi Osaka, hoping someone would recognize the description. However, the public provided no significant leads. The victim did not match any publicly known missing persons cases. Meanwhile, forensic examinations continued. DNA samples were collected and compared with national missing persons databases, and fingerprints were analyzed in case the victim had prior records. These methods required time, but amid the deadlock, a ray of hope appeared. Through internal police channels, the Osaka Missing Persons Unit reported that in late December 2024, a family had filed a missing person report for a 52-year-old government official named Kamioka Takamichi living in Chuo Ward, Osaka. He was about 1.4 meters tall and disappeared shortly after Christmas 2024, with no contact since December 27th. This information matched the forensic profile, and investigators immediately suspected that the victim might be Kamioka. To confirm, police contacted the family and collected DNA samples for comparison, along with dental records and X-rays. While the identification process was underway, an unexpected breakthrough occurred. Police found the victim's head at another location in Osaka. This lead came from a secret interrogation after investigators began focusing on the apartment building where Kamioka lived. Attention turned to the condominium where he resided, a 10-story building in Chuo Ward. When police entered Kamioka's apartment using a spare key, they found it neat and organized. His luggage was packed, as he had planned to fly to the Philippines to visit his wife on December 27th, but never made the trip. There were no signs of struggle, suggesting he was not killed inside his apartment. Police suspected he left the apartment and encountered danger elsewhere. They interviewed neighbors in the building. Many confirmed they had not seen Kamioka for some time. Investigators paid special attention to a 28-year-old man named Hiroto Oki, who lived alone in the same building. When questioned, Oki appeared cooperative but tense. He claimed he knew Kamioka as a neighbor but was not close to him, only exchanging occasional greetings. An investigator noticed small scratches on Oki's hand, which he claimed were caused by a cat. Suspicious, police intensified the questioning. Under pressure, the young man finally confessed. He said he had dumped the victim's body in the mountains and disposed of the head elsewhere. Oki revealed that he had hidden the head in an abandoned building in the Shimanuchi area of Osaka. Police immediately dispatched a team to the location, where they found a silver insulated bag among old trash behind the building. Inside was the decomposed head of the victim. With this discovery, the victim's identity was confirmed as Kamioka Takamichi, a 52-year-old civil servant at Japan's Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism. According to family members, he worked as an administrative staff member at an aviation management training institution under the ministry. He lived in a condominium in Nipponbashi, Chua Ward, with his wife, who was Filipino and was in the Philippines at the time. Despite living apart geographically, their relationship was described as good. Kamioka was described as quiet, kind, and gentle. Colleagues said he was responsible and easygoing. He was not a high-ranking official, but a diligent administrative worker who had once worked at the ministry headquarters in Tokyo about 15 years earlier. Friends and acquaintances were shocked by his disappearance and brutal death. He lived a disciplined life, did not drink excessively, had no debts, and had no conflicts with others. His life was simple and showed no signs of danger. His only weakness was his physical condition. He was very short for a Japanese man, about 1.4 meters tall, and had a noticeable limp, possibly due to joint problems or past injuries. Because of his frail physique, he tended to avoid conflicts and preferred peaceful resolutions. This made the brutal murder even more irrational. Kamioka had no children, only his wife and a few relatives, who were devastated by the news. He was known to be punctual and disciplined, so when he missed his flight on December 27th and lost contact, his wife sensed something was wrong. The discovery of his remains was officially announced on February 5, 2025, ending weeks of speculation. Finding the head was crucial for forensic confirmation, as severe bruising around the neck confirmed he had been strangled, consistent with earlier conclusions. Now the overall picture of the case became clearer. The victim was a gentle civil servant murdered and dismembered by a young neighbor. What motives drove a man 25 years younger to kill him? What happened in his final hours? After identifying the victim and suspect, Osaka police launched a comprehensive investigation to reconstruct the crime. Initial assessments suggested robbery as the motive. After searching Kamioka's apartment, police discovered his bank card was missing. Transaction records showed that on January 10, 2025, someone withdrew about 500,000 yen from an ATM in Osaka. This matched Oki's statement that he was financially desperate and decided to kill Kamioka to steal his money. However, police needed concrete evidence beyond his confession. On February 3, 2025, police searched Oki's apartment. The small room appeared messy but had signs of recent thorough cleaning. Using ultraviolet lights, forensic teams found traces of blood in the bathroom and on the walls, confirmed by DNA analysis to belong to Kamioka. They also found gray hair mixed with the victim's hair in the drain. In Oki's backpack, police found a blonde wig and cash. A suspicious black suitcase was found in his closet with fibers matching Kamioka's work uniform. They also seized a sharp kitchen knife and a small handsaw with microscopic tissue residue on the blade, linking the tools to the dismemberment. Authorities also reviewed security camera footage in and around the apartment building and along Oki's route to the train station. Elevator footage from around 6 p.m. on December 28, 2024 showed Oki wearing a blonde wig, a dark long coat, and dragging a medium-sized black suitcase. Normally, he had short black hair, clearly indicating he was in disguise. The dismemberment and deliberate concealment of the crime were considered aggravating factors. The defense could only argue mitigating circumstances such as financial desperation, first-time offense, and young age, but overall, the outcome seemed clear. Hiroto Oki was unlikely to avoid a severe sentence. The case became an important example showing Japan's strict stance against murders committed for financial gain. Until the verdict was announced, public attention remained focused on the case, with people trusting that justice would be served for Kamioka. The investigation phase ended with a horrifying truth revealed, while raising many painful questions for Japanese society. Media outlets asked what drove a young man like Oki to become a cold-blooded killer. The case also raised concerns about urban security. Some elderly residents living alone in Osaka admitted they felt more anxious after the incident, keeping doors locked and being cautious when strangers rang the doorbell. The lesson from this case is clear. People living alone, especially the elderly, should be cautious when opening doors to strangers or unfamiliar neighbors at night. If Kamioka had been more cautious, the tragedy might not have happened so easily. But justice will be served. The public believes a severe sentence will be imposed on Hiroto Oki, closing a dark chapter with punishment and reminding everyone that in a civilized society, no crime can stay hidden forever, and there is no escape for those who shed innocent blood. What do you think Hiroto Oki's sentence should be? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Horrifying Documents so you don't miss our latest videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time.